Hey everyone, what's going on? It is Tuesday. It is the 10th of October. Yes, I had that written down. I didn't need that. We're here. It's lunchtime. It's live. If you want to interact with me, you can do to give you a headline overview of what we're going to be doing on the show. We're going to be discussing a couple of bits and pieces of transfer stuff. It's the 10th of October, I'm well aware. But there's a general sense of things are rumbling on behind the scenes at Liverpool in regards to looking ahead to the January transfer window. Also, I want you guys to help me take stock of the season so far. So we did a good old chat on this on the Originals podcast yesterday afternoon. But what we're going to be doing throughout it, we've got Joe producing. Going to put a bunch of polls in the YouTube chat, throughout which we're going to ask you some questions, and I want to get your general gist on a variety of topics moving forward. In fact, Joe, whenever we're ready to go with the first one, you can put it in whenever you want. But the first poll that will be going in shortly is who's been Liverpool's best centre-back so far. We're going to put the options in the poll for you to go through. And then basically throughout this show, I'm going to be referring back to them and we'll be deciding on all of that kind of stuff. Right. So we're going to start with, just to get you up to date, it is the international break. That means a bunch of Liverpool players have gone away on international duty. But which players, I hear you ask? This is Anfield.com have handily pulled this list together. And they say 16 Liverpool first team players called up for internationals and 8 youngsters. Liverpool have seen 16 first team players called up for international duty in October, along with 8 more youngsters from their academy ranks. 6 have been omitted, however, including Gravenberch, Jones and Gomez, whilst Cody Gakpo, Thiago, Queven Kelleher, Stefan Bacchetis and Conor Bradley all miss out with injury. Trent Alexander-Arnold is the sole Liverpool player in the England squad, with Southgate overlooking the form of Gomez and Jones. And obviously, that's a bit mad. Alisson is now the only Brazilian international, with Fabinho and Firmino having left, and he will face Darwin Núñez's Uruguay. Uruguay also due to face Colombia, who include Luis Diaz in their squad. Virgil van Dijk is set for 2 clashes with teammates, as the Netherlands take on Ibrahima Konaté's France and Kostas Tsimikas' Greece. France's fixtures will also pick Konaté against Andy Robertson, who will captain Scotland again. Alexis McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai, Mo Salah, Diogo Jota and Wataru Endo. Japan are also on senior duty. At youth level, Harvey Elliott and Jarell Quansah are both with the England under-21s. Ben Doak joins the Scotland under-21s. And so there's also been the first ever Wales senior call-up for Loney Owen Beck, who will then join Tom Hill in representing Wales under-21s after taking part in a friendly against Gibraltar. Luke Chambers, England under-20s. Callum Scanlon, England under-19s. Jayden Danns, England under-18s. And summer signing Trey Nyoni, England under-17s, all in the England youth setup. Finally, there were under-19s call-ups for Lewis Kumas, Wales under-19s, and Trent Cone-Doherty for the Republic of Ireland under-19s. So there we go. Just to give that full list, the senior players away on international duty for Liverpool are Alisson, Van Dijk, Konaté, Quansah, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Tsimikas, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Elliott, Endo, Salah, Núñez, Diaz, Jota, Doak. Try saying Núñez, Diaz, Jota, Joke 3 times fast. It's not easy. Youth and Loanies, Chambers, Beck, Scanlon, Hill, Nyoni, Cone, Doherty, Kumas and Danns. And then who won't be travelling? Adrian, Pitaluga, Matip, Gomez, Gravenberch, Jones, Carvalho. And then injured Kelleher, Bradley, Thiago, Bacchetic and Gakpo. So there you go. That gives you a little bit of a clearer picture on where the Reds are at this international break. Thank you so much to Veronica for the £2 super chat. Veronica, you didn't put a comment in there. If you want to do that, just put one in the comments and I'll read that out as well. Jeremy Price as per the comments, hi there, everyone good over at Redmen TV? Yes, absolutely, everyone just seems to be ticking along really, really nicely. Tom's having a little break, Aaron's back from his. Joe is just looking so ridiculously hench right now, producer Joe, and you'll never get to see it because he's a behind the camera guy, which feels a waste, but, you know, not for us, because we get to see him. David Alitok says, hello to all of you. Hello to all of you. MP wants mate out. Oh. Yes, apparently so. Brilliant. Well, how did you know that? Right, sounds. Craig Flynn says Quanta has been brilliant so far. Genuinely future Liverpool captain. Wow. That's mad. There you go. Right, okay. I want to know then we put the poll in. The first poll, who has been Liverpool's best centre-back so far? And just to give you a little bit of update on that, we're going to end that one in a moment. We had 94 votes, so you got the last few seconds to get your votes in. When we get to 100, I'll call it. There we go. So Virgil van Dijk had 20% on that. I didn't read it before I ended it. Joe, did you see it? You what? Excellent. Yes, it does. Fabulous. There we go. Quansah has been Liverpool's best centre-back so far, according to you guys here on YouTube. 32% of the vote for Jarell Quansah. Matip at 27% was in second. Konate third on 20%. And Virgil van Dijk at 19% of the vote. Out of interest, we could only put 4 in the poll on YouTube. And we opted not to put Gomez in because I think he's played the lion's share still at right back. But it was interesting. Darren Lewis just gives his reaction to it. He says, that poll is nonsense. The Irish Wellston Raider Live says, Konate has not made any mistakes. Matip has. Matip had 99% of the vote. Yeah, he didn't. What do we think on that poll? And Jarell Quansah, I think, has been really impressive. You know, not perfect. I don't think any of our centre-halves has been perfect so far this season. I think Matip, if I'm being honest, for me has been Liverpool's best centre-back so far this year. But I'm pleased with the love that Jarell Quansah is receiving, certainly. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on that one. If you have you got any strong feelings on that poll, then please do let us know. Your next poll is going to be who should be Liverpool's number 6. That'll be going into the poll for you to vote on shortly. But the choices are going to be McAllister, Endo, Bajcetic, or a January signing. Maybe we've got a little bit more on that to come later on in the show. Right, we're going to do some more general transfer stuff here. This from sportwitness.co.uk. Player isn't dazzled by Liverpool and Manchester United interest, could choose another move instead. Yep, this is where we're at. This is by Lucas Esposito on sportwitness.co.uk. He says, it's no big news that Manchester United and Liverpool are both keen on Benfica defender Antonio Silva, as reports from the English and Portuguese media have already claimed the Premier League giants follow the 19-year-old. The youngster continues to do great for the Eagles, and as newspaper Record, Portuguese newspaper, today features a piece claiming he dreams of captaining the Lisbon side. They also bring some information about his future at Estadio da Luz. The outlet starts by recalling that the likes of Man United and Liverpool have been linked to Silva many times, but it stated that he's not seduced by a move to the Premier League. It said that even though the defender welcomes the English club's interest, he isn't dazzled by their chase, especially because he sees Real Madrid as the greatest club in Europe and they're interested in his signing too. Good Lord, we've been there before. Record writes that Silva has no hurry to leave Benfica and his attitude regarding the market makes the Eagles calm about the situation. The player is protected by a €120 million release clause, and it'll take a lot of money to convince the Eagles, regardless of whether it's Manchester United, Liverpool, or Real Madrid who's coming for him. So there you go. Yes, not much in that really, was there? Other than it's a young player, an article in a Portuguese outlet saying that he quite likes playing for the football club that he plays at. So yeah, Antonio Silva, a bit young anyway, really, and certainly the €120 million release clause, nobody is going to be paying that for a 19-year-old defender. But then again, Chelsea exists, so maybe they will. Who knows? Right, cool. The current poll is running on Liverpool's defensive midfield options. Who should be Liverpool's number 6? Get your votes in now for that. McAllister, Endo, Bajcetic, or a January signing are your options for that so far. We'll leave that running for a little bit longer so you can get a moment to gather yourselves on that. But also let me know your thoughts on that on that article that we've just gone through. Seems like a load of crap. Ed Stone 007 says Chelsea will whip out 200 million for him. Yeah, just lob it on the table. What you want, I'd be interested to know whether you can play transfer inception with Chelsea. And by that I mean, can you, I think we did this with Lavia and a bit of Casado, to be perfectly honest. I'm not saying Liverpool didn't want either of those players, but Chelsea are stupid and they're run by stupid people who make stupid decisions. So I wonder whether you can kind of get them to pay something silly for another footballer. I mean, what did they end up paying? 50 to 60 million pound for Lavia? I mean, look, maybe we would have all been happy if Liverpool had done that, but yeah, I mean, for a kid with half a season under his belt, seemed like absolute madness. Yeah, right. We got a couple of comments that relate to the poll, which I'll come to already. But Rav D says, "Don't want him already. Go to Madrid, mate." yeah, fuck off to Madrid, you bellend. Yeah, brilliant. Right, Sal. I want to. I'm going to get through your poll results momentarily. Let's see where we're up to. So I'm going to call an end to this one on 133 votes. Who should be Liverpool's number 6? Right. Okay. Cool. I've done that. I now know that it shows up in the chat, so I can read it. Top of the poll was a new January sign, and 51% of the vote there. Second place was Stefan Bajcetic on 30. Third in the poll was Wataru Endo on 14%, and McAllister of 135 votes got just 2% of the total votes felt that he should be Liverpool's number 6. What do we think of that? So Chris is currently writing a deep dive show about McAllister playing in the 6. There are some very surprising statistics in that suggest that he's been better for it than maybe one or two of us think. Let's see. Let's go to a couple of comments. So Axel Mant says, if a January signing doesn't come in, I would prefer Bajcetic as a 6. Subway Sweden says, Endo is great and intelligent as F. He is, however, too slow in certain situations. Right, let's see. We had been playing 4-3-3 so far this season without a DM, and this creates imbalance in the team. So I'm a Mac, a similar kind of player, while Jones definitely not a DM, adds a W here. Darren Lewis is happy with McAllister at the 6 when we're going to dominate the ball. Need a more defensive-minded player for big away games. Mustafa says Bajcetic seems to be in a sensitive period of his body development. I don't think he will play a lot of minutes this season. I agree with that. I think Liverpool are being very careful. And Jeremy Price says McAllister plays the 6, you lose his potential going forward. There's definitely that. I think he's being shoehorned a little bit because he's the best option right now until such time that Endo proves that he's a better option. Effectively. So I think right now, I actually think our best 6, McAllister is our best 6 now, because if he wasn't, we wouldn't be playing him there. Endo should be, and I think Bajcetic actually is, but look, he's injured, so we couldn't play him if we wanted to. But Bajcetic has got everything required, I think, to be an absolutely stunningly good number 6 for Liverpool. So yeah, there is that. And Daniel Stewart just offers an alternative of Joe Gomez at right back, Trent at the 6. My issues with it are I need to see more of Trent with his back to play, and we're not going to see more of Trent with his back to play unless he's played in positions where he has to play like that, because that is the thing. And I think the player we've got who's best at that, who's fit, is still McAllister. So, looking towards his own goal, being played the ball with men charging him from behind. And I know their first goal speaks against that as a point at the weekend. But I still think he's the best of what we got. I think Pachetta's just fantastic at it, but again, he's not available to do that right now. Okay, cool. That's that poll. Your next poll, which we'll come on to, is going to be what is Liverpool's best front three? Joe's going to get that up and running for us in a second. But your next article is Klopp wants a better start for Liverpool. This comes from fichajes.net and is Google translated. So with the possible departure of Mohamed Salah on the horizon, Jurgen Klopp's team is looking to ensure it has the necessary pieces to remain competitive. In the competitive world of football, promising young talent is always a sought-after asset, and Assane Diao is emerging as one of La Liga's most exciting revelations this season. His impact on Real Betis has not gone unnoticed, and several European clubs have joined the race to sign him, with Liverpool as one of the main interested parties. At just 18 years old, Diao has experienced rapid growth and has proven to be a rising force in Spanish football. At Betis, the young player has left his mark by scoring 3 goals in just 4 games. His speed and skills on the field make him an attractive prospect for Liverpool, who are looking to strengthen their squad with young talent. Here we go. Klopp wants a better start for Liverpool. The Reds' interest in Diao is so strong that they would be willing to pay the player's full release clause, which amounts to €30 million. This amount would not represent a significant financial obstacle for the Premier League club and could mark a radical change in Diao's career. Liverpool's plan is to finalise the arrival of Assane Diao next summer, with the possible departure of Mohamed Salah on the horizon. Jurgen Klopp's team is looking to ensure it has the necessary pieces to remain competitive. Although Betis could try to retain the young Spanish promise, Liverpool are determined to follow Diao closely and do everything possible to incorporate him into their ranks. His future promises to be exciting, and his potential move to Liverpool will be a topic to watch closely in the coming months. The young player has the opportunity to make the jump to one of the most prestigious clubs in Europe, and his impact at Anfield could be significant next season. Well, that is a very interestingly written article, isn't it? I wasn't expecting anything to be written quite as definitively as that. I mean, bear in mind the absolute nonsense we read out for the first article, second article after international break stuff. I mean, we talk about release clauses. In Spain, release clauses are normally mad because you're not meant to pay them. They're a contractual obligation. So you sign a player and you put that really, really high, and then no one bothers to break it. Now that's why the Neymar PSG stuff was so insane, and that kick-started a mad chain of events that followed. And obviously, Enzo Fernandez's one, you know, it being broken is different, but in a similar sort of vein, you're not really meant to go to release clauses because they're meant to be out of reach. Occasionally, you can catch one, though, where the player's due another contract, and in the next contract, that'd be taken out or it would be raised, and that reads a little bit like that to me. This is a kid, and he's got a release clause because he's a kid, but because he's a kid, there's no need to set it at like 200 million, and nor would you accept that. So there might be an opportunity where Liverpool could steal in. This does feel as though he's probably going, if he's good, he's probably going to get a new contract from Betis at some point, you would imagine, from Betis this season. I'll just have a quick look at his stats actually and see what we can glean from this. So FB Ref have got him here. Let's have a little look. That is a really terrible visual representation of him. He doesn't have much in the way of stats. They're saying he's played 3 games in La Liga, and he's got 2 goals. Wow, astonishing. There we go. I mean, look, maybe if they feel that some of the young lads they've already got themselves aren't ready to make that step up, it's possible. I do think if Liverpool buy a Salah replacement, then I don't think they're going to be spending £100 million on a Salah replacement. They'll go and do what they always do. But yeah, I mean, David Henderson wants to know why I'm yawning. Why? Because I'm tired. I'm trying my best. Maybe it's the news stories. Maybe David, because you're not contributing in a positive way to the chat. Maybe it's your comment. Have you thought about that? Cool. Assane Diao, remember the name. Okay. Next poll then, I asked you guys to vote on who Liverpool's best front 3 are. The poll is done. We've had 168-ish votes. Sorry, Ed Stone's got it, by the way. The internet is so boring, I'm falling asleep while reading it. It's absolutely true. Yeah, and Yo Cool. No comment. Right, we're going to call the poll there at 182 votes. So let me see. Right. And when that updates, I will be able to give you the final results, but I don't have them now. There we go. So, right. Liverpool's best front three. So in fourth place, Jota, Gakpo, Salah. In third place, Jota, Núñez, Salah, 6% of the vote to the two from previous. Second place on the poll, Diaz, Gakpo, Salah, and our best front three, according to you guys in the poll, Diaz, Núñez, Salah, 72%. Now, it'd be interesting to know if we put Jota as the number 9 on there, would that have changed anyone's voting patterns? Because I quite like Diogo Jota playing centre forward for us. If we had to put a pecking order, would it be Núñez, Gakpo, Jota for you? Thoughts? The Wolfman's got nuts. Says, not sure we have a first choice front three. I think it's between Gakpo/Núñez, depending on the opposition. And personally, think Jota is always more effective off the bench. Philip Cassidy says Gakpo, Núñez and Salah is it. Gakpo left wing. It'll turn out the best. It's interesting, isn't it, that we've not seen a lot of Gakpo used out wide for us, and whether that was circumstantial or not. But Diaz, I think, is still our best option there because of his pace and because of his dribbling and his direct running. He stretches games in interesting ways. I think that when you've got Núñez and Salah, they like to play very close together, so we can leave that other guy isolated so he doesn't have, he interacts with his left-hand side rather than the forwards in that kind of way. So I wonder whether, I'm not sure about Gakpo, but I would like to see Gakpo. I just want to see Gakpo used more, but it's really interesting that it's mad that we've kind of bought him. If Núñez is going to be the man, Gakpo all of a sudden is struggling to kind of fit in. Ed Stone saying Diaz has more pace. Timothy Parish says true, Jota is better used late in the game. Connor Whelan says Jota is our best natural finisher, but horses for courses. Jace makes an interesting comment here, says best doesn't matter so much this year. They're all strong and whoever doesn't start can change the game when they come on. I agree with that. I do totally agree with that, by the way. Because, yeah, we've got 5 subs and we're playing 100-minute plus football matches now because of the change to the injury time rules. So, yeah, I agree. But I don't mind Jota starting games because we've seen him. He's the kind of guy who just takes his chances ruthlessly. So I think he can play at any point during the game. But I do actually quite like the idea of when he's not got the pace to run in behind. So he does suit actually certain game states. Now, if Liverpool are playing a team that then you've gotten up a good lead against and then they need to come out and try and take the game to you, then Jota's not necessarily the guy. But if teams are digging in and they're digging deep and you're going to get limited opportunities, then Jota is that kind of guy as well. But isn't it nice to have so many different type of options for us? Right, the next poll, is going to be the final poll. Who's been your player of the season so far? Joe will put that in. We've got 2 articles to wrap us up here. The first one here, both from Football Insider. Pete O'Rourke, transfer correspondent. Sources, Liverpool are now set to pull plug on Hincapié deal after agent speaks out. So they're not likely to splash out on a move for Bayer Leverkusen defender Piero Hincapié in January, despite his agent's recent comments. Sources have told Football Insider. His representative Manuel Sierra has confirmed the Reds were interested in the defender during the summer window and are among a number of clubs in discussions over a January move. He also claimed Hincapié will not cost less than €50 million. That's £43.25 million, which I think is probably not far off right. However, it's believed Liverpool are not likely to spend that fee in the January window, despite the desire to add a left-sided centre-back to their ranks. His involvement in the 23-24 campaign thus far has been limited. The Ecuador international has made just one start in a possible 10 games for Leverkusen so far this term. Hincapié can not only play as a centre-back, but also as left-back, and did so regularly for Leverkusen last term, making 43 appearances across all competitions. The left-footed moved to the German club from Argentine side Talares in 2021. He's played 3 group games for Ecuador at the 22 World Cup. Whatever, this is real. This is padding, this isn't it? Let's not read any more of that. What do we think on the Piero Hincapié thing? I think Liverpool are very much in the market. I wonder whether the rise of Jarell Quansah this season has made us a bit more chill over needing to go for a centre-half this season. I don't think there's a world where we don't move for one in in the summer. I think Liverpool have got centre-halves and left-sided centre-halves on the shortlist, but we've just given Tsimikas a new contract, and Quansah's been getting more and more game time and being more and more trusted. Says they're going to prioritise something else, and that something else, I think, is the next article and the headline of this video. Again, Football Insider. Sources: Liverpool prioritise Andre deal in January after bid submitted. Liverpool remain keen on a move for Fluminense midfielder Andre ahead of the January window, sources have told Football Insider. The Reds underwent a major midfield rebuild this summer, but the changes are not over yet, with the 22-year-old expected to be the subject of another bid in the winter. Football Insider revealed in August Liverpool have seen multiple bids for Andre rejected. But the Merseysiders have not given up hope of landing the midfielder and push again in January. Football Insider revealed on Monday, the 9th of October, that Liverpool are not likely to splash out on a move for Leverkusen defender Hincapié, as they are set to prioritise a move for Andre. Fluminense were keen to keep the midfielder until the mid-season window, as they look to win an historic first ever Copa Libertadores title. Yes. So that's one of the interesting bits on this. So 2 things I'm just going to try and get up on the boards here so we can have a little look at both of those players. So first of all, I'll get Piero Hincapié up and his transfer marked stats for the 23-24 season, just to go a little bit deeper on that article and what we can see as far as the Bundesliga has gone for him so far. So he missed the first 3 games of the Bundesliga season due to a red card suspension. And then he played just a minute against Bayern Munich in the 2-2 draw away at the Allianz. He played 5 minutes in the 4-1 win over Heidenheim, who I've never heard of before, so there you go. Was on the bench against Mainz, and just 19 minutes against Cologne in a 3-0 win at centre-half in there. I mean, according to this, he's played 2 games at centre-half and 1 game at left midfield. Go ahead. In the Europa League, he's seen a little bit more football. 18 minutes against Hacken. That's easy. It's a very scouse name, that. And he played the full 90 against Mold. Apparently at left midfield, but yeah, I'll take that with a pinch of salt, but that seems to be the case. And then he wasn't in the squad for their first German Cup game as well. So yeah, a little bit of a slow start to the season for Hincapié, despite having a really promising one last year. And then another thing I just want to draw everyone's attention to, the Copa Libertadores, which is what Fluminense are currently in. They have made it to the final. The final against Boca Juniors takes place on the 4th of November, so we're just shy of a month away from that. But reading between the lines and smoke, fire, all those kind of things, it wouldn't shock me if it's not until after that game where we see any real movement. There's no need, because we can't buy him now. They won't entertain selling him now, because why would you cause any more distraction? Like, there might be some sort of gentleman's agreement behind the scenes or whatever. But yeah, that's if that's going to happen, there's not going to be any definitive movement, is my guess on that, until at least the final of the Copa Libertadores is played. So yeah, but what do you think on that? Yeah, I mean, Hardiet David here says Piero had a metatarsal fracture, not a 3-game suspension for a red card. That's funny, though, because he's a fierce player. I mean, yeah, if that's the case, I'm only going off transfer marked, which normally tend to be all right. Yeah, apparently. I mean, if that's the case, then that's the case. And that would make more sense that why he's being eased back in after a red card. But yeah, Tim Maslin says, what's wrong with looking at the guy from Crystal Palace? Not and Mark Guehi will be on Liverpool shortlists. You know, there'll be plenty of players. Jeremy Price says Matip has been good, but that's because he has overperformed on his previous performances. Has he, or is Matip just back to his level? Is that not a fairer way of looking at it? I think that's probably fair. You know, I do think that this will be Joel Matip last season, but then I thought that last season as well. Mike has JH says Ignacio and Andre in January. Yeah, and Mwansa here saying we definitely need to start thinking about life post Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, that's the one for me. If you can get a left-footed centre half who can do a bit of left back, then you actually get to mitigate against the future of Van Dijk, because you can play in Robertson's position and rotate Andy Robertson and keep him fresh, but also do a little bit in Van Dijk's position as well. And then as and when either of those guys move on, you're ready. You're already prepared for it. Right. Okay, I'm going to end the poll on Liverpool's player of the season so far. Really interesting in that it was really predictable, but we'll see what your thoughts are on this one. Liverpool's player of the season so far, in third place on the poll, was Darwin Núñez with just 2% of the vote, which has shocked me how low that is. Second place, Mohamed Salah, 31%, although this is a guy who's got 10 goal contributions in 10 appearances for Liverpool so far this season. Núñez has got 7, but according to you guys, according to the 241 people who voted live here on YouTube, Liverpool's player of the season so far, with 65% of the vote, is, of course, Dominic Szoboszlai. Well done. Well done. There was no Alisson. Yeah, and that probably would have been a very good fourth addition to there. I don't know why it never even entered my head. I toyed with Matip being on there, and I toyed a little bit with Luis Diaz as well. So yeah, there we go. Yes, there we go. What do we think? Szoboszlai, I mean, he's certainly the player we've all most fallen in love with. I think there's more to come from him as well, which is really interesting. But like Luis Diaz has got 3 goals this season. He's technically got 4. Jota's got 4 goals so far this season. He's having a good, solid return. Cody Gakpo's got 3. Darwin Núñez has got, I think it's 4 and 3 assists, or 3 and 4. He's doing really well. And Mohamed Salah's just been absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, really positive for the Reds so far. But there we go. That is that. There is more from us, and we've even got an amazing code, by the way, if you want to come and check out what's going on Redmen Plus. We always talk about it, and you've ever thought, I like the idea of that, but I can't afford it, or I don't want to take too big of a gamble on it. If you go there, go to redmenplus.com, sign up as a yearly captain tier subscription, use the code BREAK, BREAK, as it is on screen, and you'll get 50% off a yearly subscription. That's half price Redmen Plus for an entire year. That is just dozens upon dozens of podcast videos in your life. We've got a ton of old school documentaries as well, interviews with Liverpool legends, past and present, loads of amazing stuff. Honestly, fill your boots, particularly on international break, when you might be scrabbling around going, I just need something Liverpool in my life to fill that hole. Well, fill your hole with Redmen Plus with a yearly subscription. The code is BREAK, 50% off a yearly sub. So yeah, take advantage of that whilst you can. And also, don't forget to go to redmenmerch.com and pre-order your amazing Christmas sweatshirt as well. Yeah, they are on pre-order. They are very limited edition, so make sure you grab one while you can. I'm well aware that it's the 10th of October. I've said it a number of times already on this video. But if you want to guarantee that you've got one of those incredible jumpers, then grab one while you can. We've got some limited numbers of the last year's couple are available at a discount price as well. So go to redmenmerch.com and sort it out. Yes, there you go. There's my quote of the day. Thank you so much, Wansa. Fill your hole with Redmen Plus. Dad, have a wonderful, wonderful day. There'll be more interactive shows during your lunchtimes for the rest of the week with the other amazing people we've got on Redmen, and I will see you all very, very soon indeed. Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Redmen content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on redmenplus.com today.